How's it going, YouTube? I'm Jack Churchman, the owner of CutCrew Limited, and today we're going to be teaching you how to install a Palisade fence. So first of all, why are we installing a Palisade fence? A Palisade fence gives the occupier or the client so much more security with a 3-point system on top. Also, snap-off bolts so it can't be disassembled once installed. It's great for places like schools, and that's where we are today. So we've already started to clear the area. That's one of the first tasks you need to do, is set a string line up, know where your posts are going to go, and clear that area ready for digging your hole. We're then going to crack on, dig our holes, get the posts in, and probably work our way down, installing a bay at a time to ensure that we can install the horizontal supports. And then once all of that's in, the horizontal supports and the posts, we then need to build the fence up. And that's what we're going to be teaching you in this video. So stick around. If you've got any questions at all that I don't cover in this video, then make sure you hit that comments box. I'd really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. We've got loads of other how-tos on the channel, and we also document our weekly ongoings. But yeah, let's get right into it. Right, so as I've just said, the first thing we need to do is set our posts out. We know roughly where our run of fence is going to go. We don't know the straight line yet, but we're going to get our first post in, and then we can run a string line off of that or a laser. There's obviously several ways to dig a hole. You can either go at it with a spade. You can get a manual auger like this. I'll put some links in the description for a manual auger. You can use a post hole digger. Again, I'll put a link in the description for one of them. But today we're using a Petrol 2-stroke auger just to speed things up a little bit. I'd definitely recommend one of these if you're doing this all the while. Let's get our first post in, that'll be our datum point, and we'll get cracking.
Put it out so you can fill all the way to the bottom.
Okay, so what we've done is we've measured the post and we need 450 in the ground. So we've just got Jack here checking the depth of that hole.
300.
Okay, so we've got our hole ready to go. The lads are now just going to chuck some postcrete in it. They're going to work in a 2-man team. Jack is going to get the postcrete in, and Ash is going to be checking that it's plumb on both sides of the post throughout the whole setting process, just to make sure that that sets nice and plumb. Let's do it. So that post is in, we've been checking the plumb. We're going to keep checking the plumb around every 30 seconds. Depending on the manufacturer of post fix you use, it can take 5 to 10 minutes. So we need this post in order to set a line and set our laser the rest of the fence. So we're now going to have a 5 to 10 minute break, wait for that one to go absolutely rock solid, and then we can start building our bay up. Right, so the Palisade kit that we've got here with us today is from First Fence UK. This isn't a sponsored or endorsed video, but I just want to put it on record that their customer service was amazing. We found out about this job on Wednesday, it was delivered on Friday, and they had the ability to deliver it on Thursday, but we weren't ready for it. So we're going to go ahead, that post is set now. We're going to go ahead and start building it up, and for our first post we've got an angled bracket. So there's a slot on the bottom of the post. That slots through that post onto there, and then we can bolt our rail to this element here. The kits come with all the nuts and bolts. One thing I would recommend is using an impact gun because they are shear off safety nuts. So yeah, we're going to get that bottom rail on, and then we know where to put our second post. We're going to be using a laser today. I'm not going to bother showing you that, but from here what I would normally do if I didn't have a laser is I'd set my string line from that, and I'd take that down the run of the fence and leave that where I want my end post. So then you know where the linear run is, and you know that your posts are going to be nice and straight.
What's this one for? The L one?
Right, so now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take my bolt, and that can go through that hole. My nut can go on the back. In fact, I'm going to turn that round because I want to be able to get my gun in there. So I've just put that bolt through there. I'm going to put the nut on the end of it. I'm then going to ask Ashley very kindly to push that as far up as you can. Impact gun. Just going to tighten that up. I'm not going to snap it yet. I'm going to leave that on there loose, so when the other post is in we can just check the level, and then I'll come back and snap that off. Okay, so we've marked up where our second post is, and Jack's just going to get that in the ground now. So I've set my laser up so we can check the top of the post. So basically when I hold this receiver at the top of this post, we're going to get a green light. So this is our datum. If we move over to this post, we can see that that post needs to come up. So we can basically do this the whole way along the run of the fence. If you don't have a laser, all you can do is tie a string line to the top and have a second string line. You have one at the bottom for your linear run and one at the top for your height. Right, we're now going to get the top run in also, just to build that up to make sure that we can actually get it in. Last thing we want is that to go absolutely solid and not be able to do it. So I'm going to go do that now. I just thought I'd show you the bolts quickly. I'm going to go in like that so the nut is on the end and basically that shears off. As you can see, we've got our two rails in there. The lads are now going to continue the fence. Once they've got this second bay in, I'm going to start building that fence up. I've put one in already just to demonstrate what we're doing. These use the smaller bolts to fix the uprights. That's a 17mm socket, and the large bolts here for the brackets that go through the fence are a 24mm. So I'm going to chuck a time lapse on now and build this up. So that's that bay all built up. That was really simple. It would have been a lot quicker with two of us. So now this is done, we've just got to build all the other bays up. That's pretty repetitive video if we watch us build 8 bays. So the key thing with Palisade fencing or any type of fencing, just make sure you get your line straight, your levels right. If you don't have the equipment we have, such as lasers, then you can literally just measure the post and mark where you want it to be in the ground. Can then get one of these out and just check that you're happy with the height. Just take it slow, it's really easy. First Fence have produced a really good kit here. Again, I'll put a link into their website. I'll say it again, this isn't an endorsed video, I'm just really happy with their customer service and the product. One thing I forgot to mention is once we built our rails, we did stick a spirit level on top there just to make sure that they're nice and level. Then you don't have to worry about checking these individually like you do with a feather edge board, because the holes are all pre-drilled correctly in the right place, which is really nice. Again, if it's your first time doing a Palisade fence, I'd probably recommend just loosely tightening on all the bolts until the end, and then run around with your impact gun and shear those bolts off, just to make sure you're happy, because as I said, once these are sheared, you can't disassemble them unless you grind them off. As I mentioned earlier, if you do have any questions, feel free to stick them in the comments box. If you've learned something in this video, check out our other content, because I'm sure there'll be something that you might like. If you do find that the channel has taught you a lot, I'd really appreciate a subscribe, it helps us grow that channel. We're going to crack on now with the rest of the bays and get this fence done. Thank you so much for watching me, Jack, at CutCrew Limited. We're a grounds maintenance business that operates through East Midlands, Northamptonshire, Milton Keynes and Bedfordshire. You can click here for our website, here to subscribe, here to watch our weekly series, or here to watch a video that YouTube thinks you might like. Got some work to do now. Let's crack on.